Hi guys, if you're interested in knowing how to change your bad habits or manage your habits or generally understand habits and why people do what they do, keep watching this video. I'll provide you with answers. What's up guys, it's your boy Coded99 and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to this channel, I upload content about personal development. I invite people to have real talks with them and I upload fun content as well. So if you're interested in any of these, check out my channel. If you like what you see, please don't hesitate to subscribe. Well, first of all, this book is the best book I've read in 2021 so far. Man, the book is very engaging. About 90% of the time, I was so hooked on this book and I didn't want to stop reading it. Secondly, it's an eye-opener to understanding habits, how habits develop and how to manage them or change them. The title of the book is The Power of Habits by Charles Duhigg. Charles Duhigg is an American journalist and trust me, he knows how to keep his reader engaged. The book is divided into 3 parts: the habits of individuals, the habits of successful organizations, and the habits of societies. The book started with helping us understand that our lives are full of a massive combination of habits. And sometimes the choices we make might seem like products of well-considered decision making, but no, they're just habits. And if you look at these habits on their own, they look very little. For example, what you say to your children at night before they go to bed, what you eat every day, what you do when you wake up, how you spend, how you save, and all these things. All this contributes to our health, our finances, our productivity, and a lot of areas in our lives. And when you combine them together, they have enormous impacts on our lives. So they can make or break you. And all what I'm saying is that good habits are really important. So I learned a lot from this book, right? And one interesting thing I learned is that our brains can't really differentiate between good habits and bad habits. The brain just responds to a habit loop, which is a cue, a routine, and a reward. I'll explain this with 2 examples from the book. One is a man who had a health condition and he lost 3 decades of his memories and he can't retain a new information for more than 1 minute. So doctors were studying him and scientists were also studying him. After I went home, his wife started taking him on walks and all that. And after some weeks or some months, one day she woke up to take him on a walk and she noticed he was missing. She was worried because, of course, this man can't remember anything, he can't retain any new information. So she was worried where he is, and because the houses were similar, she had to go to the neighborhood to look for him. Maybe he thinks one of the houses is their house and all that. She went out and after some time, she came back and she met him in the house, sitting down and watching TV. Then going forward, she noticed that the next day as well, he went out and she followed him. She noticed he was actually taking a walk on the path they used to walk around, and then he would go and come back. But the interesting thing is that if you meet this man on the road, or even when he comes back and you ask him where was he can't remember. What did he do? He can't remember. So basically he would go out, come back and sit at the television and watch the same program that he watches every day. Basically everything was new to him. With this, he helped the doctors understand that this guy is not making a conscious decision. His brain is making the decision for him because of the habit he has built over time, going out with his wife and all that. So he doesn't even know what he's doing, but he's doing them. His body and his brain is just responding to it. He doesn't know why he's doing it. So one pattern they noticed is that he would go out. Once he goes out, he comes back, watch TV, then eat, open the fridge and take eggs and bacon. This continued for a long time. Then after some time, it started having a detrimental effect on him because his diet was not okay. So that's what I'm saying, that the brain can't differentiate between good and bad habits. The brain is just responding to the cue, which is to go out, come back, sit by the TV and eat. The second part that explains the habit loop is an experiment they carried out on rats. So they put some chip in the rat's brain to monitor the brain activity, and then they kept the rats in a maze. The beginning of the maze, the rat is kept behind the partition that only opens when a loud click sound is made. Then at the end of the maze, there is a reward, which was chocolate, since the rat can sniff around and find the chocolate. So once the click sound is made, the rat starts navigating the maze to get to the chocolate. It starts sniffing around the wall to get to the chocolate. What they noticed was that at the beginning, the rat's brain activity is spiking. Then when the rat is looking for the chocolate in the maze, sniffing around the walls and all, the brain activity is also spiking. Then when the rat gets the reward, which is the chocolate, the brain activity spikes. They continued this experiment for weeks, and then they noticed a change in the rat's brain activity. That since this has continued for weeks, the rat had gotten familiar with the maze, knows where to go to get to the reward. Before the partition opens, the rat's brain activity is spiking. And once it opens, the rat enters the maze and starts looking for the reward. But this time the rat already knows where the reward is. So the brain activity decreases at this point in time. And the brain activity increases later when the rat gets to the chocolate. What they notice is that Because of the habits that the rat has developed, the brain goes on autopilot once it's in the maze. This proves that once the habit has developed, the brain stops fully participating in decision making, just like the man. It stops working so hard or diverts the focus to other tasks. So unless you deliberately fight the habit or find new routines, the pattern that you've developed will unfold automatically. Okay, hold on a minute. If you feel like you're enjoying this video and you want more of it, you're learning something new, you're feeling the vibes, please make sure you subscribe to this channel for more of such content. And you can also drop your suggestions in the comment section and I'll make sure to follow up. Take it. Later in the book, you'll learn a fourth element of the habit loop, which is the craving. And the craving is what helps to drive the habit loop and also to create new habits. Once again, the results were based on studies and experiments, but I'll jump to the main point. Usually after the reward, there is a spike in the brain activity. Remember the rat. So they noticed something, that the same brain activity usually noticed after the reward started appearing at the cue level. So once there's a cue, the brain is already excited, thinking about the reward that is at the end. So that's why they say the craving is what drives the loop, because our brain already starts craving the reward even the moment there is a cue. An example you would see is in smoking. So let's assume a smoker sees a pack of cigarettes. The brain starts craving the nicotine rush they're going to get from smoking that cigarette. And if the smoker doesn't pick up the cigarette, the craving may just increase, except if they got distracted or something. The craving may just keep on increasing until they actually pick up the cigarette and smoke it. Then the brain is satisfied, the reward. So right here, the cue is the pack of the cigarette, the routine is the smoking, and then the reward is the nicotine rush. But why the smoker will keep on craving the cigarette is because the brain is already anticipating the nicotine rush just by seeing the pack of the cigarette. And sometimes the smoker just unthinkingly reaches out for the cigarette and start smoking. Another example is an email or text coming into your phone. You know that craving, once you get a notification or your phone chimes, you want to check what it is. You want to check what notification it is. Even if you are just going to see the preview, you just want to know what it is. That's the craving. The cue is the notification for you to crave the curiosity just to know what it is. And then the reward is you being satisfied that you've checked what it is. And that's why you notice that once your phone is away from you, example, once your phone is away from you, you can actually concentrate on work or focus for longer hours without being distracted than when it is close to you on vibration or ring. So in this case, taking the phone away from you, you've isolated the cue. So the craving for the reward is not even there in the first place. So you can actually do whatever you want to do until obviously the phone gets back to you. Charles Duhigg wrote in the book that this same logic applies to some gambling softwares. For example, since the gambler is already in the habit loop and they want the reward of winning, so some of these softwares are designed in a way that they give the satisfaction or the sensation of almost win, right? So the gambler thinks they're almost winning and then they don't win, and then they start the queue again just to satisfy the urge of winning. But since the software is designed in this way, the gambler keeps on putting money, and somehow they may end up losing all their money just because they want to satisfy the urge. And sometimes the software, whatever platform, would give the gambler a win just to satisfy them temporarily, and then they keep on playing, and then before you know, money is gone. The point of all this is that anyone can use this logic to create new habits or manage their habits. For example, if you want to exercise more, you can place a cue that once you wake up every morning, your shoe is already by your bedside, so you wear it and go to the gym. And after the gym, your reward could be a cup of smoothie. So once you put the cue in place, your brain starts anticipating the smoothie already, and this would probably make it easier for you to push through the gym door and work out and then come back to get your reward. Disclaimer, this doesn't mean that it works 100% for everybody. Another interesting thing I learned from this book is that when you're trying to develop a new habit, have a plan and also plan for the pain and the reward involved in the routine of the habit. He gave an example of patients who went through knee replacement surgeries. During their rehabilitation time, they were advised to take walks regularly. And you notice that there were two categories of patients. The first category wrote down the plan. They wake up at so time, they would take their walk, and then they anticipated the pain they would feel when they get to some obstacles, and they anticipated what they would do. Maybe they would sit down for a while and then continue walking. They also anticipated the reward. For one of them, the reward was him walking to his wife, and when he gets there, he's happy to meet his wife and saying, "Baby, I'm here." That was his reward. So even in the midst of the pain, because the process was really painful, they were able to pull through. But the other category of patients didn't have a plan. So because the process was very painful, so even the thought of starting and taking a walk was not encouraging for them. After some time, they noticed that the patients who had plans, and anticipated the pain in advance and all that, they recovered faster, they had more improvements, they were able to even stand up without support better than the patient who didn't have plans. Another important lesson I learned from this book is the concept of the keystone habits. Keystone habits are habits that have the tendency to spawn other habits. They're more like the habits that matters the most. An example the author gave were people who were adding weight and they were told to start a food journal. Now this was the keystone habit, to start a food journal. They will write down what they eat every day, at what time, what craving they had and all that. Although it was difficult at first for them to develop that habit, but they noticed that over time, because they were keeping a food journal, they were able to track patterns that they didn't know existed before. They were able to see some of the things they snacked on at the wrong time and all that. And this created some sense of accountability, and this helped them improve and tackle those patterns they didn't want anymore. So basically, keystone habits have the tendency to create small wins for you, and they have the tendency of boosting your momentum in whatever habit you want to change or whatever pattern you want to change. A personal keystone habit for me was putting my phone away or putting it on silent when I want to do some serious work. My phone is usually on vibration. Before I notice when it's beside me and a notification comes in, my brain is like, oh, are they check? Then I check, and before you know, I'm scrolling or I'm doing something else for like 15-30 minutes and I'm not being productive. But what I changed was whenever I want to do serious work, I either turn off my phone or I put it on silent or put it away from me, and this helped me focus longer. So just that keystone habit has helped me improve my productivity. Lastly, the author gives practical steps in applying the understanding you just got about habits. And the framework is to identify the routine, experiment with rewards, isolate the cue, and have a plan. As a practical example, he said he started gaining weight and his wife started noticing and complaining about the extra weight at his waistline. And why he was gaining weight was because he got into the habit of eating cookies at work. So he started self-experimenting, and he would ask himself these questions: where are you? What time is it? What is your emotional state, and what action preceded the urge? And this was because generally habit cues fit into 5 categories: the location, the time, the emotional state, other people, and the immediately preceding action. 3 days into him tracking, he found out that the urge actually came around a specific time of the day, between 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Using step 2, by him experimenting with rewards, he tried to figure out if his craving was actually for cookies or just a break from work, or wanted to socialize, or just because he was bored and he needed something interesting. So he tested different rewards. Each time he has the urge, he would take a break and walk around and take note of how he felt afterwards. Another time he would take a break and go and socialize with his colleagues or his friends. Notice how he felt. Another time he would take a break and then eat. Another time he would take a break and go take the cookies. Another time he would just take a break and take a walk. So over time, after experimenting with rewards, he found out that he felt better after he socializes with people or with friends. So what he was actually craving was a break from work to socialize. So the key was isolated, the urge to socialize between 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. His plan going forward was to set an alarm that at 3:30 he would stand up from his desk and walk to another person's desk or go and socialize for about 10 minutes and come back to his desk. And he said he felt better after doing that. Even at the end of the working day, he felt better. So basically, he replaced the habit of eating cookies with socializing, which was what they actually needed initially. I think understanding the science behind our habits can help us change them or monitor them. However, some habits can be more difficult to change, and some take a long time to change. Some would happen that you would fail several times and repeat the same thing, and you fail several times before you actually get it right. But understanding this framework is a good place to start. Once you can diagnose the cue, the routine, and the reward, then you can gain power over that habit. So kudos to Charles Duhigg for this book. I absolutely recommend it as a must read for everyone. And of course, there are more things to learn in this book, like way more things to learn. And if you buy the book, you would get to learn about how organizations use the logic of habits on their employees and also on their customers, and how it helps them gain more profit. You would also see how habits affect society and how little changes in some cues can affect the society as a whole. And that's all for this book review. You know, it's a nice time sitting here with you guys and discussing this book. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, and I would like to also get in touch with you. So if you have any suggestions or anything in mind, please drop it in the comment section. If you have suggestions about book you would like me to review for you, please drop it in the comment section and I'll make sure to follow up. Please support your boy by sharing this video and giving it a thumbs up as well. I'll be signing off now, and until next time, make sure you keep your soul beautiful.